Good morning, children. Today we shall start a third unit, chapter 8, Cell, the unit of life. Already we have finished the unit 1, chapter 2 and chapter 4, and second unit was deleted, and now we are in the third unit, first in that chapter 8, Cell, the unit of life. Third unit you will have all those three chapters, chapter 8, 9 and 10. Okay, now we shall start chapter 8, Cell, the unit of life. So what and all we are going to learn in this chapter? This is only the protocol of this class. Okay, first, who discovered cell, milestone in discovery of cell, and after discovery we want to learn the cell theory. Okay, what is cell theory and how many cell number will be, what is the size and shape, and what could be the different types of cells. Prokaryote we have learned, under that bacteria and blue-green algae, and we have learned archaebacteria, methanococcus, and come to mesokaryotic cells. What is mesokaryotic cell, children? Normally we have learned dinoflagellate. Okay, dinoflagellate. So dinoflagellate, it comes under which group? Protista. So protista we have learned dinoflagellate. I told you all eukaryotes will contain histone proteins except dinoflagellate. So there is no histone protein will resembles eukaryotes, but it will have a big nucleus in it. So they have scientists, they have put between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. So prokaryote means there you cannot see a true nucleus. Eukaryote means true nucleus can be seen. So between prokaryotes and eukaryotes there will be an intermediate group that we can call it as mesokaryotic cells. Example your dinoflagellate. We have learned under protista. And example for prokaryotes we have learned bacteria, blue-green algae and archaebacteria. Example for eukaryotes, plant cell and animal cell. And what and all cell organelles like endoplasmic reticulum, mitochondria, Golgi body, plastids, chloroplast, lysosomes. And apart from that, you will learn in grade 11 onwards some microbodies. Thus you didn't learn in your grade 9. So you will learn thoroughly in grade 11, that is peroxisomes, glyoxysomes and spirosomes. These we can call it as microbodies. As the name itself, it will indicate it is all very small globular structures can be seen in the cytoplasm. That's why we are called as microbodies. What is the example for microbodies? Peroxisomes, glyoxysomes, spirosomes. Peroxisomes, glyoxysome and spirosomes. Okay, these only we are called as microbodies because they are very small or tiny in shape. And come to next, cytoskeleton. So cytoskeleton also we want to learn in detail, that is microfilaments and microtubules. This is only we'll call it as cytoskeleton. And we want to learn flagella and cilia and nucleus, nuclear envelope, nucleolus, and inside nucleus, nucleoplasm, and inside chromatin. Please write and keep all those things in your running notes, and it will be useful to follow in the classes. And next we'll move on to our topic. Okay, next we'll move on to our topic. So what is cell? Actually we have learned from grade 8 onwards. Grade 8 onwards we'll have this chapter, cell. So what is cell? Cell is a very smallest unit of living matter. Okay, we'll tell smallest unit of living matter is called cell. How we are telling? Smallest unit of house or smallest unit of any building is brick. Like that, smallest unit of life, that is only we are called as cell. And smallest unit means it will have all the properties of life. The cell itself will respire, will do so many activities. Okay, and all organisms are composed of structural and functional unit of life. So that is only we are called as cells. These are the some different definition for cell. And come to the important definition. The body of some organisms like bacteria, that is Monera, protozoans, protist, and some algae is made up of a single cell, that is unicellular organisms. While the body of fungi Okay, plants and animals are composed of more than one cell, so we would call it as multicellular organisms. So what is unicellular? Single cell, and multicellular, many cells. An example for single cellular organism is Munira, Protista, and some algae. Example for multicellular is fungi, plants, and animals. Is that clear? Now cells, we know it won't be a same size and shape. It will vary, depends upon the organ where it is present, and depends upon the work what it is going to do. So cells vary in size and structure as they are specialized to perform different functions. But what is the basic component of the cells? Is all those like presence of endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, this and all will present every part of the cells. So now we'll move on to our first part, that is discovery of cell. This we have learned from lower classes, but quickly we'll recall what we have learned in our lower classes. Who discovered cell? Cell was discovered by Robert Hooke in the year of 1665. Is that clear? Robert Hooke, and he is actually English scientist, and he only coined the term cell. Cell is a Latin word. And what is the meaning for that Latin word? Meaning for that Latin word is little room. Okay, little room. So cell means a little room. And how he has discovered cell means, and he is a spectacle person, and he is keeping a this shop, spectacle shop, and while doing with experiment, or while doing some research work, he saw small rooms in the slice of cork. Okay, so he thought that each and everything is just like little room, so he named it as a cell. Is that clear, children? So here you want to remember, and while examining a thin slice of cork. What is cork, children? Cork is nothing but the bark of the tree. We know tree, so outer layer of the tree we can see bark. So when we take bark of the tree, when we take a thin slices of cork, and when we observe under the microscope, we could able to see small little room like structure. That is only we'll call it a cell. And what microscope he has used? He didn't use what we are using in our lab, like compound microscope. He used his own designed microscope, that is self-designed compound microscope. What we are using, that is not Robert Hooke microscope. So now look at this. This is a microscope which was used by Robert Hooke to observe the thin slice of cork. Okay, this is a self-designed microscope. This is a little bit complex, but nowadays we have a light microscope or compound microscope, which is very little bit advanced, can able to see quickly the objects. But it is not in the case of self-designed, but it was in 16th century. So obviously there you cannot see any modern technique. Is that clear, children? So here what you want to remember, Robert Hooke, he designed one compound microscope. With that only he observed a thin slice of cork. With that he can able to see a little room like structure. He call it as a cell. So what is the meaning for cell? Cell is a Greek word, Latin word. Meaning for that is little room. Is that clear? Now come to 1672. Now the years you want to remember in a hierarchical order. First 1665, second 1672. Here Anton von Leeuwenhoek, he is a scientist. Anton von Leeuwenhoek. Anton von Leeuwenhoek, he observed bacteria and also sperms, okay, and red blood corpuscle, all of which were cells. So he observed the sperm and observed bacteria and observed red blood cells, and he told even RBC, sperms and bacteria all are cells only. And Anton von Leeuwenhoek will tell father of bacteriologist, because he only first discovered bacteria. So we can tell father of bacteriologist is Anton von Leeuwenhoek. So you want to remember a little room was observed by Robert Hooke, but bacteria and sperms, red blood corpuscles, everything will contain only cells. That concept was given by the Anton von Leeuwenhoek in the year of 1672. And come to after nearly 15 years next, 1831, Robert Brown, okay, he discovered nucleus, center of the cell. He observed a dark stain material. So he thought that, okay, it is different from the other parts, and he named it as nucleus, So what and all case history? Robert Hooke, cell, little room, self-designed microscope. And 1672, Anton van Leeuwenhoek in bacterial sperm, red blood corpuscles. And 1831, Robert Brown, nucleus. Okay, that is very, very important. Now look at this is only he has observed under the self-designed microscope, like all like small rooms. So he call it as a cell. Is that clear, children? So now we'll move on to the proper definition. After discovery, they have given a proper definition for cell. What is cell actually? So cell is a structural and functional unit of living organisms enclosing a pit of protoplast consisting of numerous micro and macro organic and inorganic molecules dissolved or suspended in a colloid or watery matrix. So here imagine this is a cell. Okay, this is a cell. Center of the cells we can see nucleus, and a nucleus surrounded by what? Cytoplasm. So here one term was given, protoplast. What is protoplasm? Protoplasm is nothing but nucleus plus cytoplasm. Together we can call it as protoplasm. So we'll tell protoplasm only consists of cytoplasm plus nucleus, and cytoplasm will consist of all your cell organelles like mitochondria, Golgi apparatus, ribosomes, etc. And also microbodies we have learned, no? Peroxisome, glyoxysome, everything will present over it. And also we can see some molecules, small inorganic molecules, like some crystals can be seen, and organic molecules, some components will be seen, and some dissolved material, some undissolved material, and semi-solid like substance and watery substance. Everything can be seen inside the cell. So the molecules are busy in reaction with the release or uptake of energy, because all work is going on inside the cell. So automatically so many work, we can see the molecules will be very busy within the cell, because they need to break down to release energy, and they need to consume energy to do its work. Like that, so many reactions will be seen inside the protoplasm. Is that clear, children? And the protoplasm is limited by a membrane called plasma membrane. Okay, protoplasm is limited by a membrane called plasma membrane. So protoplasm of the cell is limited by a membrane. After plasma membrane, we can see, if it is a plant cell, we can see cell wall. If it is animal cell, there is no cell wall. So plasma membrane will surround the protoplasm. Is that clear? And we'll see the three major components of the all types of cell. So cell membrane is a common type. Cytoplasm will be seen, and remaining DNA is naked in prokaryotes. We know the definition for that, like bacteria, archaebacteria, blue-green algae and all. DNA is naked. It is not at all covered by any nuclear membrane, and covered by a membrane in all other organisms in eukaryotes. Is that clear, children? This is the basic structure, and we know already the plant cells have in their cytoplasm large vacuoles containing non-living inclusions like crystals and pigments will be stored in the large vacuoles, and in animal cells we can see smaller vacuoles. And the bacteria have neither organelles nor a well-formed nucleus. So only what we can see in bacteria, children, we can see only in ribosomes. As I have explained while taking the biological classification, bacteria won't contain any cell organelles except ribosomes. So we can able to see polyribosomes meant for protein synthesis. Other organelles and all will absent in it. Even nuclear membrane will be absent. Only we can see genetic material alone. That's all about the cell. What is cell? Definition of cell, and what and all can be seen, like cell membrane, cytoplasm, and what can be seen in protoplasm and what can be seen in protoplasm and in prokaryotes, and what can be seen in eukaryotes. And now we'll move on to the cell theory. So what is cell theory and who has given cell theory? Cell theory was put forward by Skeleton and Schwann in 1839. Here you want to remember 1831 only they have mentioned about the nucleus, and after 1831, 1839. So you want to remember 1665 what happened, and 1672 and 1831 and 1839. So 1839 Skeleton and Schwann, okay, both they are friends, okay, they are related scientists, and they have put forward the cell theory, okay. And in what paper? That is very important. Microscopic investigation of the similarity of structure and growth in animals and plants. So in that assignment paper only, in their research paper, okay, in that only they have proposed the cell theory. Those days, nowadays we have so many journals and will write books. Those days they will submit papers. Even nowadays also we have practice, no, some PhD scholars, those who are doing research, first they will present paper, okay, whatever their invention, no, whatever their discovery, everything they will present in paper, and others should accept that. Afterwards it will be accepted as a discovery. It will be accepted as a discovery. So before that they need to submit a paper based on their research, and for that they need to submit a proof also. So what is the research paper? Microscopic investigation on the similarity, okay. And what is the first concept what they have given? All organisms are composed of one or more cells. One means unicellular, more means many-cellular. That is the first concept. Second, cell is the basic living units within organisms, and the chemical reactions of life takes place within the cell only, okay. Third, all cells arise from the pre-existing cells. For example, if I am telling new cells are formed means how the new cells are formed? New cells are formed from the pre-existing cells only. The pre-existing cells will undergo cell divisions like mitosis or meiosis. From that only you will get a new cells. So new cells are formed from the pre-existing cells by cell divisions like mitosis or meiosis. It is not formed de novo. By naturally you can't see any new cells. By sudden of any reaction there won't be any new cells. It will undergo cell division. With that only you will see the formation of new cells. So these three are only we can call it as the cell theory, which was proposed by Skeleton and Schwann. Very easy. All organisms are composed of cells. It might be one or many, and all living organisms basic unit is cell, and cell only we can see all chemical reactions. All cells are arised from the pre-existing cells. So this is the cell theory which was proposed by Skeleton and Schwann in the year of 1839. And come to next level, 1859, a German medical doctor called Rudolf Virchow, and he has given one revised cell theory. Rudolf Virchow. All this is very important for your competitive based exam. Rudolf Virchow, he has given a revised cell theory. And he observed under the microscope like cells dividing. He reasoned that all cells come from other pre-existing cells by cell division. And what they have given us, Skeleton Schwann, simply they told all cells they will come from the pre-existing cells. But this Rudolf Virchow, he observed the cell division under the microscope, and he has given more explanation for that concept. So we'll tell Rudolf Virchow, he has given the revised cell theory. And last, Haeckel, Ernest Haeckel, okay, Ernest Haeckel, 1866, after 1866, okay, and he established that nucleus stores and transmits hereditary traits. Now he is going very deeper manner. Now what is inside the nucleus and what is the role of the nucleus? So nucleus was absorbed by another person, okay, and the role of the nucleus was explained by the Ernest Haeckel in the year of 1866, and he again modified theory, and he renamed the theory as not cell theory. He has renamed the cell theory as cell doctrine or cell principle. Cell doctrine or cell principle. That is very, very important, children. Who has put forward cell doctrine or cell principle means you want to give Ernest Haeckel. Cell theory was proposed by Skeleton and Schwann. Cell theory was revised by Virchow Rudolf, and cell theory was renamed by Ernest Haeckel as cell principle or cell doctrine. Is that clear, children? So afterwards they have proposed a modern cell theory. Okay, modern cell theory. So what can be seen under a model cell theory? Like first point is common. It is a fundamental unit. Second point also common, pre-existing cell. Third point, energy flow occurs within the cell. That is very interesting because all will have a small compartment. Through that they will communicate whatever they want. They will take it from the neighboring cells. So energy flow can be seen within the cells and also between the cell. Energy flow can be seen within the cell and also between the cells. And cells contains hereditary information DNA, which is passed from cell to cell during cell division. Even not only cell, the nucleus also will divide and the nucleic material, the DNA also will be passed to the next their daughter cells. All cells are basically the same chemical composition organisms of similar species, and different species will have a different organization. So this is a modern cell theory. Okay, and also the following parts. All known living, sixth point, all known living things are made up of one or more cells, that already we have learned. And some organisms are made up of only one cell, that is unicellular, and that is a single cell. Others are multicellular. And ninth point, the activity of an organism depend totally on the independent of cells only, because that is the basic unit of life. So organism should depend upon the cell only. And depending upon scientific requirement, the cells get modified. For example, this point is very important, children. Depending upon specific requirement, the cells get modified. Example, elongated muscles and nerve cells, and loss of nucleus in RBC, and cytoplasm in outer cell skull. So what is the characteristic of elongated muscle cells? So elongated muscle cells only, it is helping for our stretching of our body. And nerve cell is also elongated to carry information in our body, which is very lengthiest cell, nerve cell. And loss of nucleus in RBC is very important, because if nucleus is there, that itself will occupy most portion of your cells, because the RBC should carry the oxygen throughout the body. So more RBC should be seen inside the blood. So the area of nucleus was eliminated, so the RBC can be easily carry the oxygen throughout your body. For that reason, loss of nucleus can be seen in RBC. And cytoplasm in our outer cell cells also will get modified for our purpose, for the sweating, oil gland, everything. So this and all will tell a modern cell theory, which was proposed by based of the concept of Ernest Haeckel. Is that clear, children? Next we'll move on to, so now we know what is cell, who has discovered cell, how he has discovered cell, and what are the cell theories, cell definition, cell theory, and modern cell theory. Next we'll move on to the number, size and shape of the cell. Okay, this we'll see in the next video, children. Thank you.